Welcome back to a really special Ty and That Guy. I'm John Wesley Chatham, and this is my good buddy, sometimes a lover, sometimes hugger, Ty Franck. And this is our Roshan bot named Hosef. Say hello, Hosef.
Hello.
Say hello, Ty.
Hello, Ty. When you did your welcome back, one of our audience left. The minute you said welcome back, they were out. They were like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
You can see their. What are you guys on?
Yeah.
Discord?
No, I'm on Riverside. I can see 30 in audience right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
shit.
chased one away with your welcome back.
I knew the welcome back was fucking annoying. I knew I should change that. Pleasing people, Ty, that's our first priority. So like when we're doing it, we should have like a meter of like when they're happy and when they're sad, and we'll just adjust our behavior to make
like
people
the knob.
happy.
Yeah,
exactly.
like so I've actually been there at the place where they do the audience testing of a show, and all the people are sitting there with the little knob that they can turn. Yeah, I've watched that happen. It was very weird.
We should do that. Joseph's our knob, so if you turn him, we'll know. Like,
and by the way, there was one time we did the entire first season of The Expanse.
Right.
There was one time when every knob got turned to 10. Can you guess which time that was? You were in it.
I Am That Guy.
No, first season.
Oh, first season. First season, I was in the scene.
Every knob went to 10 for one scene.
Shit. No, I don't know. I don't remember. Wait. Ask the patrons. See if the patrons can guess. See if the patrons can guess.
Patrons, what do we say?
When all the knobs went to 10.
All the knobs went to 10 in season 1 when we were doing the testing.
Amos was in the scene.
When the Rossi breaks out of the Donager, the churn speech, Wes with the shirt off, opening sex scene, Wes wasn't in the opening sex scene.
Well, he was, but he was just
there.
a little off camera.
Yeah, I was just off camera. Yeah. They're like, Wes, why do you always show it when Steven has his shirt off?
Nobody would ask that question because we all know.
Yeah, and Gerald with I have absolutely no idea. So okay.
So what it was the scene where Sematimba is pointing his gun at Naomi and saying, unlock that console, and then his head just explodes all over Naomi. And Wes says, "You say we wait, so we wait, boss."
You say we wait, so we wait, boss.
Every knob went to 10. It was the one scene in the entire first season where every single knob went to 10. So good work, man. Good work.
Thank you.
So why is today special?
Yeah, Ty, why is today special?
Because I have my comfortable underwear on. And I'm drinking a fine Syrah.
One of these days, Ty's going to stand up, and all these patrons, all 38 of these patrons are going to get a show, and and all the patrons that signed on late are going to be so goddamn pissed off that they missed the underwear show.
I'll stand up right now.
Yeah, baby. Woo!
That's I'm repping my girls bandmate, my new favorite band. And for all of you 38 people who Wes hasn't chased off yet, go onto YouTube, look up Bandmade From Now On, and then thank me later. It's maybe one of the coolest pieces of music you will listen to on YouTube.
Do we have music lovers out there? Should we ever do like a deep dive on like our favorite bands? Like a behind the music episode of like our favorite bands? I wonder how that would do.
I'm super into music, and my tastes are very eclectic, so that could get really weird with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but if you like something, somebody out there likes it too. All right. We're talking about like the most obscure random 80s movies, and we got 30. It was 38. It just dropped down to 30. There's like a lot of people showing up and leaving, man. We're not doing a good host. Start asking questions, Joseph.
That person hates Bandmade, and they were like, "Fuck that guy for wearing a Bandmade shirt."
You. Yeah, or
can we finally at least say why this is a special episode?
Yeah,
because it is.
Because it's arbitrarily our 100th episode. Somebody arbitrarily decided that this one is the 100th.
Wait, it is the 100th, right? No,
is it?
Technically, it is the 100th. But
nice.
This
Yeah,
this is nice. He was like, this is arbitrary. No, we did arbitrary. You count. You do one episode. You say one.
We do Christmas.
You say two.
We do Christmas shows in July. I figured all this shit is arbitrary.
Yeah. I mean, look, that says a lot about our producer when we're like, we do Christmas shows in July. And we do our 100th episode. It's probably like our 69th episode or 70th episode.
Nice.
Maybe 112, maybe 120.
Whatever.
Anyway.
I remember when we did our Halloween episode during Thanksgiving. That was fun.
So in honor of our 100th episode, we're going to get to hang out with our Patreon members and answer some questions. And hopefully we'll keep it PG, right, kiddies? But I can get a little naughty if you want to get naughty.
Does it have to be PG?
Oh, I was kidding.
Okay.
No. I was saying we can get dirty if you want to get dirty.
All right, nice.
Nobody else is going to see this. It's just us and these 37 people here.
So let's get things kicked off with a question for Ty. Dave asks, what's the biggest storytelling lesson you have picked up from working on The Expanse, be it in the writer's room or otherwise? And if you've had a do-over, is there a piece of writing you would have done differently?
Well, okay, so I'll answer the second one first because it's the easiest. Every writer would have a do-over on everything they've ever written. That's just like every time you write something, at some point you have to code lock it. At some point it goes gold and it goes out into the world. And I guarantee you 3 seconds after it goes out into the world, you go, oh, shit, I have a slightly better version of that line, but it's too late. It's out in the world now. So that's always true. I mean, and no matter what you do, like if it's an artistic endeavor, if you're a painter or an actor or a writer or anything, you're going to finish something. It's going to go out. It's going to be on film now. It's going to be permanent. And you're going to go, fuck, I know how I should have done that. I have a better version of that, but it's too late. It's already out in the world. So you just got to be okay with that. I would say the biggest storytelling lesson I learned working on The Expanse was how to write for a camera. If you're a novelist, you don't know how to write for a camera. You don't think about a camera. You're inside somebody's POV. You're inside their head. I was fortunate in that it made sense to me, so I was able to adapt to that fairly quickly. My writing partner, Daniel, who I will freely admit is a much better writer than I am, took a lot longer to learn how to do that, to learn how to write for camera. That if something can't be seen by a camera, don't put it in a script. And he did eventually because he's a fantastic writer and he did eventually learn that. But I think because he'd written so many novels, it took him longer to get out of the novel mindset and into the writing for camera mindset. But yeah, I mean, that was working on the show. Learning to write for camera was a huge lesson for me.
And Daniel probably hasn't watched as many movies as you've watched.
Nobody has watched as many movies as I've watched.
Exactly.
Like Roger Ebert hasn't watched as many movies as I've watched.
Yeah, you always brag about not having kids, because only somebody that doesn't have kids would
I don't
be able
brag
to watch
about
that
it.
many
I
movies.
admit it.
No, you flaunt your freedom in front of our faces.
I do flaunt my freedom. I do flaunt my freedom, yes.
In front of our faces.
Yes, but I have a cold, sterile existence that ends when I die. So, it's a trade-off.
Yeah. The line will end with you.
Alrighty, and our next question for Wes comes from Christoph. What is your favorite top 5 sci-fi TV or book series?
Like, are we doing the top 5?
Top 5, yes. Sci-fi TV or book series.
Harry Potter, obviously.
Yeah, that's more fantasy. Let me do movies, because here's the thing. I know some of my TV, like my taste, like some of my shows, like, do you remember the original V from the 80s? Yeah, like I would be
Mark
saying,
Singer,
like,
man.
Yeah.
Mark Singer.
Yeah, I love
the Beastmaster himself.
Yeah, That's Beastmaster's in there, but that was one of my favorite things of all time. But let's do movies, okay? Obviously, I like sci-fi combined with other genres. That's how I like my sci-fi. And I would say my very first is obviously Alien. We talked about that because of the horror and sci-fi element. That's one of my favorite combination. Second one is sci-fi action. And this kind of vacillates from time to time. But I would say right now, the mood I'm in, Terminator, it would be my second sci-fi action. Aliens would be my third sci-fi action. And then my fourth would be... And it depends on the day that you ask me. Oh, I have like a tie right now in my head.
Independence Day Resurgence.
No. I would say that this is horror sci-fi, but I really love the Don Siegel Body Snatchers. That's
that movie is fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, dude, that movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that I remember seeing it for the first time at like Superstation Up All Night or whatever, one of those things. And it just got to me, man. It just like, and it was one of those movies that I just, I always, when it's on, I always revisit. And there's just something about the way, the chemistry of that movie and how it is. I really enjoy that movie. So that's 4. And then I'm on 5. My 5th would be, there's just so
Tank
many.
Girl.
Yeah, Tank Girl, which is not a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it is. It's like post-apocalyptic, man.
Yeah. And so any of the Star Wars,
I would. So if I may contribute to your list, I would say any top 5 action sci-fi movies that does not include Mad Max Fury Road is an inferior list.
You know what? You just said it. Because Empire Strikes Back was one of the things that I was wrestling with, but I've always considered Star Wars fantasy more than sci-fi. And I know some people disagree with that, but I always do. So, but now that Ty said Mad Max Fury Road, I would say Fury Road. But if you would consider Star Wars fantasy, one of my favorite movie of all the Star Wars is Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back is a fantastic movie.
Yeah. And book series, I mean, you know what I'm going to say with that. I gotta
Harry
promote
Potter.
Harry Potter. What's next?
Next, for Ty and Wes, Jay asks, have you played an RPG together? If so, what was the story and the characters?
Okay, let me answer this one. So our buddy Clint, who you guys all know because he was he produced some of the earlier episodes of this podcast. Clint and Wes and I and some other friends of Clint's, when we were all in LA, played an RPG together. That was this weird, like stripped down, like I think he got it off the back of a cereal box RPG. Where Wes was playing Wes's character. It was kind of post-apocalyptic. Wes's character was the Lord Humongous from Mad Max, and my character was the reincarnation of Keith Richards, who had the power to hypnotize people with his music. And we were storming our way across the post-apocalyptic landscape, baby.
And if you want to see Ty in his element, you want to see Ty really flourish, play a role-playing game with Ty. That's Ty. That's like Tom Brady being on the football field. Like Ty knows to play some role-playing games.
Well, I will say that a role-playing game that I created spawned a $600 million series. So I think I'm okay at it. I think I'm pretty good at it.
Damn. Whip the dick out, just swing it.
Yeah. You see the size of my $600 million dick? Now I have almost none of that money. Like almost zero of that money belongs to me. Other people got that money.
It all went to the actors. Thanks,
You
Ty.
got the crumbs.
Yeah, whatever crumbs of money fell off of Wes's table, like I was licking those off the floor. That's what I got.
Our next question is for Wes from an honorary patron.
Okay.
Lindsay Walker asks, do you still wear the white satin jumpsuit as casual around the house?
Hey, Lindsay.
Lindsay, let me tell you something about that suit. I feel like me when I'm in that suit. I feel like it's an expression of my inside on the outside. And it drives my wife crazy. So when we have our little intimates, I might start off with the jumpsuit. So that was a good question.
So Ty,
I thought
Andrew
it was a good
asks,
story.
and I know we've probably gone over potentially your top 3, but I wanted to hear what Ty's top 5 game list is. And if Mass Effect isn't on there, I would be really surprised.
Mass Effect is not on there. I enjoy.
Wait, is that you, Joseph, saying that you'd be surprised at Mass Effect, or is that him saying that?
No. Andrew was saying
Yeah,
that.
okay. I enjoyed Mass Effect when it came out. It's not a game that I revisit, and it's not a game that I think about. I mean, my favorite video game of all time, and I'm very excited because they're doing a remaster re-release of this. It's a very old game. It deserves a re-release and a remaster, is my favorite game of all time is System Shock. And I think System Shock is the greatest video game ever created. And it's created by Warren Spector, the greatest video game designer of all time. Everything Warren Spector ever touched, I'm in love with. System Shock, Thief. I think Thief is amazing. That was a Warren Spector game.
Well, hold on. What makes, I'm looking it up right now. What makes System Shock stand out so much? Why do you love it so much?
Because System Shock is a game that tells you nothing at the beginning, drops you in, and lets you discover what's happening in the world through your own actions. And there are a million different ways to tackle every problem. So you never have to do what they tell you to do. You kind of figure out your own solutions to things. It has the best bad guy, the best primary antagonist of any video game ever. An AI named Shodan, who is hunting you through the entire game, and she's a fucking bitch, and I love her. She's awesome. But, Warren Spector, he made System Shock, he made Thief, he made Deus Ex. Deus Ex, also one of the greatest games ever made. So I would say that my top 5 list of games is anything touched by Warren Spector. Recent game-wise, nothing has really... I occasionally feel the need to revisit System Shock, and I put DOSBox on my computer, and I go get an old ROM of System Shock, and I fire it up, and it looks terrible because it's a million years old and all that. But I still feel this need to revisit it. I'm very excited. When the PS4 remaster of Mass Effect came out, I was like, I played it. I don't need to play it again. It's fine. It's a good game. It's well made. I got nothing against it, but it didn't speak to my soul the way some of these other games did.
All righty. For Ty and Wes, Amber asks, is a hot dog a sandwich? Merriam-Webster Dictionary says yes, but Oxford English Dictionary says no. Inquiring minds want to know.
You go first, Ty.
I think a hot dog is a dick in a bun. I don't know.
Did you ever see Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks?
When was it Nick the Dick?
Yeah.
Nick the Dick.
Yeah.
Nick the Dick. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I think of hot dogs, that's what scene I think about. That's what I think about.
Yep. When he unzips his pants and you hear that thud on the table. And Tom Hanks starts clapping.
Yeah. And they go, oh, bravo. It goes blink. And
that's what I always think of too. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's trying to get the hot dog, and I'm not in the hot dogs a sandwich camp.
Ty and Wes, David asks, what have you been working on since you finished working on The Expanse? What projects can you talk about right now? I've already told them. I said they can't talk about it, obviously, if it's not public.
Well, what I will say is the project that I'm working on, that I finished working on, it's
the Harry Potter reboot. What?
Ty won't give you a goddamn thing. So I'll fuck around.
You will find out what projects I've been working on when they're announced in Variety or Hollywood Reporter or one of those things.
Ty and Wes, Sam B asks, who would win in a fight? Amos or John fucking McClane?
Okay, so here's the answer. Amos is very practical. In any sort of situation where Amos sees that things are going to come to violence, Amos jumps ahead of everybody else and goes straight to violence before everybody else is ready for that, right? So he usually wins a fight. But my question is Amos a terrorist? Because if you're a terrorist,
you're fucked.
Or a thief, or a high-tech thief, you're fucked. McClane is taking you out.
Whoever presented that question has to set the stage. What is the story we're telling?
Yeah.
Is Amos considered a terrorist and he's trying to get at John McClane's wife? Or is John McClane a threat and Amos knows it, but John McClane has no idea that Amos is after him? Yeah. So you got to tell a little bit of a story, and then we can tell you in the circumstances of that story who's going to win.
What I will say is if Amos is breaking into Nakatomi Plaza, he's fucked.
Yeah, he's fucked.
If John McClane comes onto the Rocinante and starts waving his dick around, he's fucked.
He's fucked. Literally and figuratively. Ty, wouldn't it be cool like if we like did an episode? I mean, I guess we did where like Amos climbing up the elevator shaft, but if we did an episode and we just quietly tried to reconstruct the Die Hard movie, like in an episode, like Amos is all of a sudden like all the storyline is just like he's McClane and it's like, and we just put it, obviously in the Expanse universe, like there's some planet some far away.
This is a little thing we need to kickstart and get Jeremy to shoot for us. We finally found our project.
I just got Jeremy a job today, so he owes us. So when we do our horror movie, out here.
Why the fuck are you getting Jeremy jobs? You're not getting me jobs.
I got one in the hopper for you too, buddy. I'm working on it.
I invented you. Jeremy just pointed a camera at you.
I fucking made you, man.
I made you. No, well, I mean, after Hunger Games made you, but I was second in line.
But when we do Ty and That Guy movie out here on the property, Jeremy's going to shoot it for us for free. I'm putting that out there right now. Putting that out in the ether. Yeah.
For Wes from Lenetra, where is Amos currently at? I'm surprised he's not on your shelves.
Where is Amos at?
Amos, the little doll with where you had marked with where the scars were.
My wife does. I have the memory of Dory. So like if I don't see an object for a couple of weeks, it doesn't exist, and then you'll bring it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then it's like, then I'm like, Jen, where's the? And she's like, it's over there, dude. You know where we put it? I was like, okay, thank you. So if I go somewhere without Jen, that's like half of my memory not there.
It's like you lost half your brain. I get it.
Half of my brain.
It's funny you bring up Dory because my wife and I were just talking about this. So when she went to Cambridge to get her PhD, they moved her into a room. They had housing at the college. They moved her into a room that had a mold problem, and so she got a really bad respiratory infection from mold, and she didn't know what was causing it, so she just thought she was sick all the time. But she was in the middle of getting a PhD in engineering, one of the most difficult things to get a PhD in. And what she would do to keep herself going when she was like, she would cough until she threw up. It was horrible, right? To keep herself going, as she was working, she would sit and sing to herself, just keep swimming. So she would, she's doing her work and she's just sitting there, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. That was what that was like, became her mantra to keep going, to finish her PhD while the room she was in was literally trying to kill her. Yeah.
How come Janae doesn't ever come say hello while we're on the podcast?
Well, I still think we need to do one that's just Jen and Janae, and we just stay out of it.
Definitely.
Well, the problem with that is after that, everybody will be like, get rid of these two fucking guys. We want the two girls back.
All righty. Next question is for both of you. Rianne asks, what are your favorite fan experiences or random encounters?
I think I told mine already. The Barnes and Noble. Did I tell that? Oh,
yeah. That's a great story, though. Yeah. Where you're like, what do you think of Amos? And he's like, oh, well. Dude, what do you think of the guy that got to play him?
So one day I was in Orlando. We were taking our kids to Disney World. And I was in Orlando. I went to the Barnes and Nobles in Orlando, right next to where it was on Dr. Phillips. And so I walk into the bookstore and I was talking to this guy. This guy was like really fun to talk to. We were talking about this book, House of Leaves. Have you guys read this yet? House of Leaves? Anyway, so we were talking about this book. Then we got on to Stephen King. Then we were talking about Joe Hill. And then he was like, look, and he was introducing me to some horror authors that I haven't heard of. And so we were having like these long discussions about book. And as we were walking around, and I had like a stack of books like this of people that I knew people that he was introducing me to, we walked by The Expanse. And I say, the Expanse books in their section, I say, have you read these yet? And he goes, oh my God, they're my favorite. I fucking love, if you haven't read these, you need to fucking read these books, da-da-da, and everything's like, it's fucking great. And I go, I heard they made a TV show about it. He goes, oh my fucking God, TV show is better. It's my favorite TV show. It's the best fucking television show on television. I fucking love it. And I was like, you're a fan? He's like, yeah, I'm a huge fan. And I said, what did you think of Amos? And he goes, I go, who plays Amos? And he goes, this guy, Wes Chatham. And he goes, when they cast him at first, I wasn't sure about him, because I was like, dude, I do not picture this guy as Amos when we're talking about that. And he's talking to me. And then I go, oh, really? Really? And I go, wait a minute, Wes Chatham. I go, what's he look like? He Googles me on the phone and shows me a picture of myself. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the picture of myself. And I was like, does he look familiar to you? And he's like, what do you mean? And he looked at the picture, and then he looked at me, and he looked at the picture, and he goes, oh my God, what are you doing here?
Yeah, because actors don't buy books.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And it was like, and then he goes, and then it's like he dried up. He couldn't talk. He wasn't talking anymore. He wouldn't talk. And then he's like, I'll be right back. And then he went and pulled like people from the back that were like huge fans of The Expanse. And they came back and he was like, and we talked about it. But it cracked me up that he Googled, like, I guess, maybe because he deals with code, but he Googled me and showed me a picture of me.
There's a line in the show that explains that moment. It's where you're talking to the guys on the Songbird, the Somnambulist, the Weeping. No, it's the Songbird. It's the Lazy Songbird. You're on the Lazy Songbird. Guys come in. They say, "What crew are you with?" You say, "I'm with the Rocinante." They say, "Never heard of him," and you say, "Yeah, you probably have, but I'm out of context."
Yeah.
You were out of context. That guy, his context for who the people he talks to at a bookstore does not include actors from TV shows he watches.
Right.
And so because you were so out of context, you were invisible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he was just looking at books and he was into the books that I liked. I got one more story to tell. I was at the airport. This is one of my favorites. Yes, favorites is one. I was at the airport and I was going through the line and there was two girls that were I think it might have been clear or it might have been just them checking the ID, but they were like, one girl was working and the other girl was just like, maybe she was on a break, but they were just hanging out talking. So I go up there and I'm about to give, it might have been clear, I'm about to give my ID. And then she looks up and she goes, oh my God, you're that actor. You're an actor. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And she was like, oh my God. And her friend goes, oh my God, I know who you are. And they were like, can we take a picture? And they're like, yeah, sure. You can take a picture. Yeah, no problem. So I go over to a friend and I'm getting ready to take a picture. And she goes, I can't believe I'm meeting Chris Pine. And I was like, oh no, I'm not Chris Pine. And they're like, oh, well, who are you? But it made me laugh so hard. It's like, it was such a, I mean, because I get, like, I will get, like, there will be moments like that, and I always act like I'm that person. But this one time, I just, for whatever reason, I feel like I need to be honest. So
I have a friend who's a writer. He's an Australian writer who looks a lot like Dave Grohl. And we were at a convention in Australia hanging out, and somebody came up and was like, "Are you Dave Grohl?" And he's like, yeah. And the person's like, oh my God, I love you. And then they left. And I was like, why'd you do? He's like, I've been asked if I'm Dave Grohl so many times at sci-fi conventions. I just say yes now. And he's like, people are always cool. They're always like, oh, I love your music. Oh, thank you. And then they leave. Yeah.
Because it probably takes more energy to tell him he's not.
It takes more energy to say no.
Yeah.
If you say yes, then they're excited and they leave and they had a nice moment.
And it makes their day. It makes them feel good.
Well, speaking of airports, Wes, War Dog asks, have you ever flown out of Glacier Park International in Montana? They think that you might have seen them.
I have. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Then they must have seen you.
Yeah, speaking of airports, I love Montana. I have a friend, one of my really good friends that lives up there. So, yeah, that was me. Good. Come say hello, dude. Yeah.
That sounds like a made-up place. Glacier Park International. That sounds like bullshit. That seems made up.
All right. Well, for both of you, Teresa wants to know, I would be interested to know which co-star or member of the production crew
that we hate the most.
Yeah. I got a list.
You see his mug right here on the thing.
Hate the most. Yeah. So you.
Who do I miss the most? Steven is a good buddy of mine, and I miss Steven a lot. But I get to see Steven a lot. He comes and visits me a lot. We do Comic Cons together. Yeah.
Steven comes and visits you. Steven, like Steven and I were good friends while the production was going. He is not. I have not talked to Steven since we wrapped.
Well, fucking call him, dude.
Yeah, I should. I worry that I would call him and be like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yes, dude. Steven comes down. Like, this is like he comes down. We hang out. We have a nice little time here in the great wilderness. I think he likes. He lives in the city. I think he likes like just getting away and kind of going. And
he should come to my house. I live in the middle of a northwestern forest.
Do you know how long the flight is to the direct flight from New York to Hartsfield, as opposed to from New York to Washington? Or he probably had to fly into Seattle, right? Is that the closest airport to you?
No, Portland.
Portland. Oh yeah,
Portland. It's closest to me. Yeah. Portland Airport's like 20 minutes from my house.
But I miss everybody. Like, I really miss Narain. Talked to him the other day, the showrunner. I miss Dominique.
Weirdly, Narain doesn't miss you at all. We had a conversation about that. Yeah.
He's like, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
I really miss Frankie. She's just a pure joy to be around. Just a really wonderful person. Yeah. So I miss Jeremy, our DP.
I miss Frankie every now and then just coming over and putting me in chokehold.
Yeah, no.
Just like randomly she would be like, "Hey, Ty," and then I'd be in a chokehold. I'd be like, "Hey, Frankie, how's it going?" Then she'd be behind me and she's armbarring my neck.
I don't know if it's a New Zealand thing or whatever. It just sunshine was just radiating out of her presence where she went. Even when you walk by her trailer, it was like music was always playing. You walk in, she's always like burning incense, and like she always created an atmosphere around her. And she's just I miss that. I miss fucking everybody. That was 7 years.
You were fucking everybody?
I was fucking everybody on that set.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the scandal we're releasing here. I was fucking everybody.
Well, and I didn't know that, except I did know about Terry McDonough. He did tell.
Oh yeah, fucked him overall, baby.
Well, he doesn't tell it that way. He is the other direction. Terry McDonough, who was only on the first season, he and I hung out a ton, and he taught me so much about love, but also about how you make a TV show. And just because of that, I miss the crap out of that guy, man.
I do too, dude. Nobody made me laugh like Terry when he
and every time we would rap, they'd call a rap. Terry was the first one in his van, like he was running for his van. But before he would go, he would turn to me and go, "Shit Irish pub." and we had a pub that he called the Shit Irish Pub, where as soon as we wrapped and got back to the place, we'd all meet at the Shit Irish Pub and hang out. And it was amazing. It was the best first TV experience a person could possibly have.
Who was I don't know if it was a wardrobe or makeup artist. Who was it that was like fixing somebody up, and he was
Nancy.
Nancy goes, "Nancy, are you in this shot?"
That's okay. That's my favorite moment on set ever. I think I've told it before, but yeah, it was when Joel was the first AD, and Joel is an intimidating guy. He's like 6'27", and like he is like a former hockey player. He's like this big intimidating dude.
He's got a sweet face though.
He's got a sweet face, but he's a big intimidating guy. And he was always very nice to everybody, but he was intense. He had this intensity to him because, if you're a first AD, you have a hard job. He had this intensity. And we're shooting, and I'm hanging out with Terry on set, and Terry and I are sort of ducked behind this console so the camera can't see us in this little tiny set, the night, that shuttle. And one of the costume people is messing with Dominique's costume, and everybody's waiting. And it's going on, and everybody's kind of waiting. And eventually Terry, the director, goes, "Nancy, love, are you in this shot?" and Nancy realizes, oh shit, everybody else has left. I'm the only one still.
She's so into her work.
She's so into her moment. Like she does, and she runs off the set. And Joel leans over the console to Terry and I and goes, "I am gonna fuck her up." Because so surprising. It was so surprising.
The first AD, their job is to keep the trains running on time. The first AD is the adult on set, and they're the ones that got it because actors will
Actors are children.
Actors are children, and sometimes we kind of get in daydream land. Like, you know, it's like herding cats with actors, and then, you know, they have this whole big thing that they have to, this whole mechanism that they got to make sure runs on time. They got to make sure that we make our days. We got to make sure that we got to finish this scene because we got to be in this scene at this time. We got to be at this location. They're coordinating everybody's schedules, actor schedules, everybody that's working schedules. And so they have it all on their shoulders. So then we can all fuck around and have fun. And so there are moments where they're like, I'm going to fuck her up. I was reading a friend of mine. I was helping her put her on tape for this script, and I was reading the script, and it was basically inside baseball about making movies. Okay, and there was an AD who's basically just went through the fucking gauntlet of like trying to get this scene up, trying to get the director up, trying to get the whole. Finally, she gets everything set up, and then she goes to the actors, and she's like, "Okay, guys," because they called for them. You know, the second AD went and get the actors, and they were like, "All right, we'll be there in a minute." They're having their coffee. They're in the middle of a story, so they're going to finish their fucking story. And then she comes up. She's like, "Hey guys," because, you know, you trying to be polite. Can you come to set now? And then they were like, "You talking to me? You talking to me?" And they started doing the De Niro thing, and then they were both cracked. They thought they were so funny and so creative, and they were kind of, oh wait, I probably just gave away the movie. But anyway, so they were kind of going back and forth, and I'm like, that is so honest and so fucking true about actors. Like, they're so unaware of like the pressure cooker that everybody's under at that time.
Yep. Except the second would be the one going to get the actors. The third would be the one going to get the actors.
Or the third.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the third. And the third went, and it didn't go well. Well, thank you, Barflies, for hanging out with us. We had a good time. Say goodbye, Ty.
Goodbye, Ty.